Hey everyone, Mr. McCorquodale-Bauer here with InformNet. Today we're going to talk a little bit about dynamic stretching. So dynamic stretching, the reason that we do it is, as you've read in the modules and as maybe we've talked a little bit about in previous videos, depending on which grade you're in, is basically for the muscles. The muscles are kind of like an elastic if we just look at it simply. And if we have a cold elastic, right? And we just go to move. Sorry, this is going to be a prop for later. So if we have a cold elastic and we just go to move, we go to stretch it really quick. What can happen is it snaps. So that's where if we do static stretching, as we all know, if we just lean forward, we get a nice stretch in our hamstring. Basically what we're doing is we're slowly warming up the muscles. We're allowing the muscles to stretch a little further. Really simply put, but that's how we'll put it today. Now, so that's static stretching. For any of you science people out there, static, stationary. You hold it 1, 2, 3, 4. I always say the magic number is 20. Some people will say 30. Some people will say 15. I'm a 20 guy, so if you hold it for 20, that's for static. Now what we're going to talk about today is dynamic. Now dynamic means that we're moving. And the theory behind dynamic warm-up is that basically we're getting our body warm, we're getting our muscles warm, so that then whenever we go for a run, the weather's getting nice right now, so whenever we go for a run outside, or if you're playing basketball or hockey or anything like that, our muscles are ready to move, they're ready to exert themselves. We're basically getting them ready into performance mode. Now, of course, being time before you play a sport or anything, you should do this, but you can take this into daily life. Myself, I really like to go for runs. Before I go for a run, I make sure I do a good dynamic warm-up to get my body going, get the blood flowing, get the muscles stretched out so that then I'm not at risk of an injury. So we're just going to move over here. I brought this hat just in case there wasn't going to be a good pylon. So if you're going out to do this and you don't have a whole bunch of trees like we have here at the park, you can just take a hat, put it down, and use that as a marker. You can pick a tree, you can bring 2 hats, bring a sweater. It doesn't really take very much. Today we're going to use this tree to that tree. Now, that's a pretty good distance. I'm not 100% sure. Probably about 25 yards or so, maybe 20 yards. That's a good distance. You don't need crazy far. Just enough to kind of get moving. Now, I've talked a lot about dynamic warm-ups, why we do them, the distance that we're going to do ours at right now, or I'm going to do mine at right now. Now I'm going to show you some dynamic warm-ups. We're going to start with the ABCs. They're the basics of dynamic warm-ups. And basically what they're doing is they are mimicking running form. So first we're going to start with A's. And A's are, you just raise your knee to your chest. You've probably heard this before as high knees. That's essentially what it is. You're doing high knees, and this is the beginning of the running stride. Now, whenever you do it, don't think about it too much, but you want your hands to alternate. You want to bring it high. Some people will do it this to make sure that their knees are going high. Up to you. I like to mimic the arms as if I'm running. So we're going to go from here to there, doing high knees. Now, as you can see, I'm not pushing myself forward, I'm moving basically in one place. The more steps you take, the better. You want to get your blood flowing, you want to get your, so you should honestly work up a sweat, make yourself breathe hard. So those are A's. You're doing high knees. Now, B's, this is where people go different. Some people consider B's butt kicks. Some people consider them horse clops. we're going to do horse clubs. Now, before I do these horse clubs, you have to promise that you don't laugh at me, because horse clubs look funny. Now, the reason why I go A's and then into horse clubs is because we're mimicking the running form. So we go knee up, extend, out, and then it would be a butt kick. So let's do the horse clubs. Basically what you're doing is you're going up, kicking out, and pulling in. Up, out. And then, so if you're comfortable with just doing this, oh, almost fell. If you're comfortable with just doing this, that's fine. But what we want to do is get it dynamic, get our blood flowing. So now you add in a little hop. Once again, alternating hands, here we go. So, you know, as you can tell, it looks a little goofy. That's okay. So now we got the knees up, kick out, pull back. What comes next in the running form? That's a butt kick. So now we do a butt kick there. Once again, we're doing short steps. We're not pushing ourselves forward like that. It's not a race. You just go all the way there. So now we've got our A's, our B's, and our C's. Depending on how good of a dynamic warm-up, you can go there and back for one, or you can just go there like I'm doing. Whew, just gotta catch my breath. So those are the staples. Other ones that you can do, I'm gonna show you. One would be, we're going to skip for height. So there's two different types of dynamic skips. We're just gonna do skip for height. One could be skip for distance. We're gonna go up because we wanna get as many repetitions as we can. So skipping for height, we all know how to skip, right? You just kind of bounce. But now, we're launching ourselves into the air. So we're going. See how I'm driving? I'm driving the opposite hand. That's keeping with running form. Anytime we bring the right leg up or bring the left leg, this is for balance and coordination. If we do this, we're lopsided. And so we've got A's, B, C's, skipping for height. Next, we're going to do calf sweeps dynamic. So if you've seen one of my stretching videos before, this toe toucher, you just hold it like that. Now if we're doing dynamic, we're just going and we're sweeping past. So your heel's on the ground. Oh, I got out of coordination. Apparently I can't talk and do this at the same time. Here we go. So I've got my own little rhythm, as you can tell, but basically what you're wanting to do, heel on the ground, toe up, you're keeping your back straight, bending at the hip, you're just sweeping your hands down. Some of you will basically be touching the grass because you're probably more flexible than me. Some of you will be basically going past your knees because you're less flexible. It's whatever's comfortable for you, and you should be feeling it right there. So you're just going, and then you're going forward. The biggest thing is you're alternating. And we'll do one more, let's say. This one involves two ways. Actually, let's do two more. This second last one is a shuffle. Super easy. Well, super simple, not necessarily super easy. You're going down into a squat position, making sure that your knees don't go over your toes. Just like this. Except, now you're pointing your foot whichever direction, you're toed in that direction. And you're going. Now one big thing here is you don't want to kick. the back of your heel. That will cause you to fall. You just want to go low, lead, lead, follow, lead, lead, follow. Then whenever you get to the other side, point. Make sure you're not turning around. If you turn around, you're doing the same lead foot. So make sure you're facing the same direction. Point. Okay, so we've got high knees, horse clops, butt kicks. Here we go. Skip for height. Sweeps. Shuffles. And the last one, super easy. Super simple. Basically what you're doing is you're running from point A to point B at 50% of your speed. Point B, back to point A at 75. And then point A, back to point B at 100%. So you've got your muscles ready. Now you want to make sure that you're really ready to go. So if I were to do it, first one's just a jog. Don't go too fast. Remember, this is 50%. Now, we're going a little faster. And this one, 100%. And now you're ready to go. Once again, this is really important, especially if you're going to do high intensity exercises. If you're gonna do exercise where you're changing your energy level, or even if you're going for just a slow run. This gets your body running, or warm, gets you ready to go. Now all of a sudden, the first 5 minutes of your exercise isn't your body getting ready and risking injury. Super important to do. After you do this, if this is your workout, that's really good. As you can tell, I'm out of breath. It's difficult. You should get a little bit of a sweat on. You should get out of breath. So if this is your workout, that's awesome. Make sure you stretch afterwards. Whether you're doing these or anything that feels sore, make sure you're stretching afterwards. If you're doing this and then going straight into an exercise, or a workout, or a high performance game, or a recreational game, make sure you're stretching afterwards. So that's dynamic warm-ups. Have a great day, everyone.